Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber A Pile of Shirts, I have a dealer's choice. Shout out to Pile of Shirts, by the way, for giving me a bunch of dealer's choices just in time for Moto to roll out both a new set and a bunch of new cards that were from older sets. Putting those dealer's choice leagues in the recording queue really helps get exciting stuff on the channel when it's fresh. Shout out for that. The exciting fresh thing in this deck is Comet Stellar Pup. This is a card that has existed in paper for a long time, a year. Is it a year? Is it more? I didn't look it up, but it feels like forever. And we finally have it on Magic Online. This is a wild planeswalker because you're not quite sure what it does when it resolves, but it is not blue, so it doesn't get pyroblasted, and it has massive starting loyalty. Let's talk about this card. 2 red-white, 0. Roll a 6-sided die. On a 1 or a 2, +2 loyalty, then make 2 green squirrels with haste. On a 3, -1, and then return a card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. On a 4 or 5, Comet deals damage equal to its loyalty to a creature or player, then -2, and 6, +1 loyalty, and then you can activate Comet 2 more times this turn. What a wild series of things those are. Generally, I like, for my planeswalkers and my cards in general, I'd like to know what they're going to do before I cast them. All of these are theoretically upside. However, if you need to do something like kill an Orcish Bowmasters with the 4 or 5 ability, and instead you make 2 squirrels, that stinks. If you stick this on an empty board and then roll a 4 or a 5, and then you just kind of lava axe your opponent and leave Comet in lightning bolt range, that kind of stinks. There's ways this can go wrong, but all the rolls are good. And if you ever chain a couple 6s together, you probably win the game on the spot. I'm excited to try it. This list is from Marshall Arthurs, who's a friend of the show. Shout out to Marshall. He's been telling me Comet is great for several months now, and he backed up that claim by winning the Star City Team 10K in Cincinnati last month. He was in the Legacy seat, he played this deck, and his team won the event. So, scoreboard, whatever you think about Comet, it has a large tournament win under its belt. And this is Jeskai token control. This is the bones of BoshNRoll Sharkstill. Last time I played Sharkstill, I kind of identified that Staff of the Storyteller is better than Standstill, and is probably just the engine in this deck from now on. And here we are. Staff of the Storyteller, Shark Typhoon makes tokens, Comet makes tokens, all that fuels the staff, and we're hanging out with other powerful planeswalkers and just the best removal and counter spells that have ever been printed, filling out the slots. This is classic watching paint dry, blue-white X control. If nothing is happening, then I'm doing my job, and we're just sort of clearing the runway for Comet to do Comet stuff. I'm excited to try this. I have been ignoring this card's existence, along with most of the Warhammer cards, because I have to work on Magic Online. I play Paper Legacy once a month if I'm lucky with my schedule, and the last Paper event I played in, I literally forgot Comet existed, or else I probably would have had it in my Jeskai control deck. Marshall did play this deck at that tournament. So here we are. These are my first games ever with Comet Stellar Pup live on the channel. Let's do this thing. I'm on the draw for round number 1. Kind of an island, ponder keep. I'm in. Really sucks. I say all the time on this channel, decks that are built to not get wastelanded when wasteland is effective against them are really powerful. And my 1 land is wasteland. So I'm not going to force this Aether Vial. A mountain creature deck, I'm probably more interested in Shark Typhoon against them, and Spike the basic island, which is good because Goblins is a wasteland deck if that's what this is. Another force is not ideal, though actually force is fine. because I do want this parade of Shark Typhoons, and now I can force Pitching Force, and I won't really miss it. But between Swords to Plowshares and now 2 Shark Typhoons and land drops to play on basics, I think if I had 2 forces, I force the Vial, but Shark Typhoon specifically lines up well enough against the card. Okay, here we go. Passing. Am I gonna get Lackeyed? Nothing came out of the Vial. I think if you have turn 1 Lackey on the play, you don't play Vial first. You just try to ride that train to victory. So it makes sense they didn't have it. Okay, they're playing Drago with me, but they have Aether Vial, and I don't. I have Shark Typhoon, which is like Aether Vial, but rules instead of sucks. I'm looking for one of my many prismatic endings here. I've now worked through my Ponder. My deck does contain 2 copies of main deck Supreme Verdict. I think that's right. Oh yeah, Marshall's a sicko, never losing to creatures. War Marshal, sure. Speaking of Marshall, Goblin War Marshal Arthurs. The matchup you needed. Fetching in response to Vial trigger. Do we have tricks? Okay, they're just paying for the War Marshal. They could have a Lord here, so I'm not going to try to trade with a 1/1. If they just Vial in Goblin Chieftain or Goblin King or whatever stupid goblin they have. I will drop a 1/1 now, though. I would just like some velocity, and it can be a 2/2 next turn. Hitting more lands. I would like some spells. There's the ending. Okay, we're in business, kids. I'm going to end this Vial, which also puts an end to their shenanigans and any advantage they might have right now. The only thing I was worried about in this game was Aether Vial. Hey, it's that card I said. Look at that. Play to your outs, everyone. Fetching in the end step. Yeah, there's the black. The fact that they have fetch lands in the deck, you should be reading a splash color out of that. Cavern, right on time. Now that their spells are counterable again. Sharpshooter, I can't let that show up with haste. No thanks. Okay, Sharpshooter's in. Does not immediately mow down my Shark. And I will take any trade I can get right now. If I block War Marshal, it poops out a token, which doesn't change the count of goblins, but does make Supreme Verdict a better draw. I think I'd rather just keep the goblins low. Ponder versus just 3/3 Shark. I think I Ponder. There's the Verdict. I could use Teferi. If I plus Teferi, what happens here? That's really interesting. Okay, I am not going to shuffle. I'm going to play Tundra, and I'm going to plus Teferi. Sharpshooter is any target. I'm really in the market for an instant speed Supreme Verdict. And if they draw some sacrifice outlet, they can probably string together something that kills Teferi with Sharpshooter pings. A haste creature doesn't quite do it. Yeah, that doesn't do it. This puts Teferi to 1. And they've revealed Goblin Crater Maker and 3 non-goblins. Okay, I did what I was supposed to do here. They're attacking Teferi for 3. Wasteland, that's fine. I hid my red source because Comet is kind of the reason for the season here. Plus Teferi. Now I'm kind of on the fence of playing out the Volcanic Island or not. I think I'm just not going to play it. And Sharpshooter doesn't untap during your untap step, so I don't have to worry about in-step ping here. They didn't pre-combat anything. Probably smart. What happens if I block with a Shark here? If War Marshal dies, Teferi takes 2. If these 2 trade, yeah, Teferi takes 1 million. All right, yeah, it's just Supreme Verdict. Then we stabilize with the Sharks next turn. Unless they slam Muxus right now. And they put 1 on Teferi on the way out. Sharpshooter untaps 3 times from death. Don't care. That's fine. Goblin Lackey is counterable, but I don't care about it. Crater Maker is uncounterable. Yeah, they tried to bait me with a spell that's a lot scarier early than it is now. Plus Teferi. I'm just going to put a 3/3 in front of their board state here. The whole squad is attacking Teferi. Goblin Lackey doesn't trigger when it hits a Planeswalker. Let's put a 3/3 in front of the Crater Maker. That was actually a really interesting attack, because if they send Lackey at me, and then the other 2 things at Teferi, I think I just let Teferi die to make sure Lackey doesn't go off. Teferi's at 1. I have a 3/3 in play. They still have a lot of scary cards that could be in their hand. Wart Bogart Anti, yikes. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target goblin from your graveyard to your hand. That is a card I've not seen since the days of Lorwyn Limited. Let's find a Caracas or a Swords to Plowshares or something for that. All right, Brainstorm, fix my life here. Oh, that's messed up. Okay, Force of Will and the additional Flooded Strand can go. I'm going to plus Teferi, and unfortunately, rebuying Ringleader, if I give them even one turn here, is not tenable to me. So I'm just going to attack and then Supreme Verdict. Leave them with one card in their hand. Splat. Uncounterable Lackey, it's in there. And counterable Orcish Bowmasters. Oh, not a Goblin, that makes sense. Sucks to lose a Brainstorm, but would suck more to have 2 Brainstorms in my hand versus a Bowmaster. Oh, Rockran Triumph's my only other red source. I should have fetched in the end step. If I knew my deck better, would have done that. Alright, draw for turn. Shark Typhoon, never punished. I'm just going to pass. My 4/4 and draw card is better than Brainstorm and better than Goblin Lackey. And now I know they're not holding Muxus from turn 1 that I need to be worried about. Still focusing their efforts on Teferi. That tells me they don't have a Goblin that they want to shit into play. But I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do. Block. Okay, they're in top deck mode versus a Planeswalker. Okay, that was a pretty good draw. It doesn't kill Teferi or my Shark, luckily. 2 damage. Not that much. Alright, let's pull ahead. Let's find a Comet this turn. That's what I want. Another Shark Typhoon. Hard to argue with that. I am going to ponder, though. Oh, I found Comet. I'm going to do the thing. This is what we're here for. And I'm going to leave white up in case Comet rolls the regrow. All right, I made 2 squirrels. Pretty good. Do I leave a 4/4 back? Why would I care about that? Goblin Chain Whirler? That's not in their deck. Okay, I'm going to attack with my 4/4, start winning the game. For what it's worth, I don't know that jamming Comet is the best play there, but it is what I'm going to do in this video today. Comet is going to be the picture on the thumbnail. The title's going to be some joke about being a good boy, and I'm going to cast the spell if I draw it. Containment Priest is good for this matchup. Blood Moon's actually really interesting because although they're air quotes red deck, there are a lot of lands in their deck that are not mountain. Like Cavern of Souls had a huge presence on that game. Wasteland is a relevant game piece. Force of Negation sucks. Force of Will is bad a lot of the time. Narset, they don't really draw cards. Maybe I don't need both Blood Moons. I cut 3 counter spells, add 2 onboard answers to stuff. Meltdown does remove Aether Vial, but so does Prismatic Ending, and Containment Priest answers it. I'm going to run it like this. I'll keep this in. Shark Typhoon, 3 basic lands. Comet, Plow. I have a bunch of ways to get stable, and then I have something to do once I'm there. Okay, this hand, because it has a plan already, I'm more inclined to Force of Will that. I'm just going to play the Plains. If they do something I need to plow, I don't want to waste a fetch land on a Plains when I'm holding 2 of them. They seem to be representing Bowmaster. That's my read. Like I'm just going to cast Ponder or something. I really love hitting land drops and not doing anything else. Among the best magic there is. Goblin Matron. What are we looking for? Are we curving up to Ringleader? Oh, it's Chieftain. Okay. Someone likes a little haste on their waffle. A lot of Flooded Strands in my hand. That's okay. They're good. I will not be plowing this Goblin Matron. I could block it with Shark Typhoon. And then if they have like Munitions Expert, they can pick off my Shark. Do I even care about that? I don't think I do. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this, make this trade, then try to slam Comet onto an empty board. Block. That also plays around something stupid like Earwig Squad. Not that I expect that to be a thing that they have, but I mean, watch out. Uncounterable Goblin second main. Sling Gang Lieutenant. Yeah, that's a powerful one. I will not be shoving Comet into this board. Brainstorm. Perfect timing. I needed this hand to look different than it does. Okay, that's a lot of gas in the tank. I can plow the Sling Gang, or I can play Staff the Storyteller and hold up Plow. That actually sounds pretty good. If I put back Prismatic Vista and Narset, land Staff. My plan here is if they play Chieftain and then they suddenly have a bunch of 2/2s, I block one of their 2/2s with my 1/1, plow their Chieftain, and then their 1/1 trades with my 1/1, and then we're hanging out. Probably going to attack with just their tokens here. And I'm going to block, see if they ping me. They did not. Okay, they took the actual trade. End step. I am going to plow the Sling Gang. As a 4-drop, I can't actually Prismatic Ending that, even with all the colors available in my deck. Yep, they can ping me with itself on the way out. I didn't draw a card into possible Bowmaster here. Now I've got some options. I can just shove Comet and see what transpires. Or I could play Narset, dig a little bit. I think I'm just going to shove Comet here and hope that he does something helpful. Because this is my red source. They have a Wasteland around. It's dog time. I know they have a haste creature in their hand. I suspect Orcish Bowmasters is in their hand as well. Here we go. What's it going to do? Made 2 squirrels, which also charged Staff. And I'm actually just going to ending this Goblin token, which leaves me kind of low on action, but leaves them on a completely empty board. Their deck does have haste creatures in it, and I'm just not going to attack for 2 here. I'm going to hang out. This Bowmaster in the end step kills one of these straight up. Yeah, look at that. What a shocking development. Okay, one of my squirrels is dead. Comet's on 7 loyalty. That's so much. I like that they didn't Wasteland me in the end step. There's no reason to do that. You might want 4 or 5 mana on your turn. I can't do anything with this Volcanic Island anyway. A lot of players, when they just have a Wasteland versus somebody's non-basic, just crack it off. Absolutely no upside to doing it in the end step rather than going to your own turn. Okay. Chieftain can send Lackey in haste mode. That's actually a real thing I'm worried about. Yeah, so they can put 3 damage on Comet, or 4 damage. They correctly assessed that I'm not going to let Lackey hit me. Good guess. That was a very smart attack. Comet's at 3. And they did need the Wasteland as mana on their turn. Swords to Plowshares. That's a good one. Comet, do your thing, buddy. I want to do this first, and then we'll know what else is going on. Oh, I rolled a 6. May activate more times. Let's go. It's party time. I get to pick up a spell from my graveyard. How about Swords to Plowshares? And I get to do this again. I rolled a 4. I get to deal 3 damage to something. I choose Goblin Chieftain. And then I can play Narset, leaving up white, or I can just kill some stuff. And Narset doesn't really affect my overall thing here, because the 3 things I'd want to do are all white. Supreme Verdict, Shark Typhoon. Interesting. Shark Typhoon charges the Staff. Supreme Verdict answers all of the BS, no matter what it is. But my hand is already 2 removal spells. Just going to put this Typhoon in my hand. That was a pretty good showcase of Comet. Is getting to activate it multiple times in a turn, kill 1 creature outright, also pick up an answer for another. They know about one of the plows, but not both. That's a position of power for me. Second Wasteland. That does give them 5 mana, unlocks any 5ers they've been holding on to. Uh-oh. It is a 5er. Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. That's horrifying. I'm going to let it resolve, though. I'm going to plow the Bowmaster when they target it. Not that I could stop it from resolving, but I mean, like, I could have plowed some creatures before it showed up. They didn't copy anything pre-combat. That's nice insulation against the plow that they know I have. They're not just running straight into it. Army is currently attacking Narset. Bowmaster is currently attacking Comet. Lackey attacking me. They don't know about the second plow. So if I get a plow onto Lackey, now the coast is clear, as far as they know, to do Kiki-Jiki stuff. And copying Lackey doesn't matter, now that we're already in combat. Yeah, cool. Alright, they walked into it. Now they're trying to copy Bowmaster, making Orc Army big enough before damage to kill multiple Planeswalkers. And I'm here to say no. They're going to have a 1/1. Alright, yeah, they're just like, off it at this point. Yeah, they had a 1/1 attacking Narset. If the copy worked, it would have pinged Narset down to 2, and this would have been a 2/2, and the 1/1 answers Comet. Instead, they just get no traction. I still have Narset activation. Comet's still around. Kiki Chiki's powerful, but yeah, I don't mind a scoop there either. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play with a hand that hits its land drops, draws additional cards, and can force of will something. All I want in life is here. Island Go. The best opening play in Magic. Or at least the most discerning. Tropical Island Go. That's half of what I did. Or is it twice what I did? Who knows? Math is hard. I'm going to play around Stifle. Not that that's really a card that's that popular in the format, but Tropical Island Go is weird. B-Storm in response. Maybe I'm a boomer with horrible habits of thinking about old Rug Delver, but that just felt like a Stifle to me. Force Pitching Ponder. I mean, I can force back here. They seem pretty worried about this. All right, if you're worried about it, I want it. And the second staff charging the first is such a crazy party. I'd like to be invited to that party. Wow, Force Negation pitch. What? Wait, what? Huh? There was a daze in this hand. Okay, so they're valuing their land drop, having 2 mana next turn, over having more cards in their hand and answering my thing 1 for 1 rather than 2 for 1. Interesting. I just got a 4 for 3 against an opponent who could have dazed me. Let's see what they do with this 2 mana, because it must be important. Sylvan Library? Tarmogoyf. Oh, okay. It does appear to be at least Rug Delver adjacent, if not the actual thing. Just ripping planes left and right. You love to see it. And I would have more loved to see an appropriate spell here. And I am just going to draw the card now. Once again, respect Stifle. I don't know, they're going to have more colors and Bowmaster me, or I don't know, whatever. Draw the card. They're not going to have Thoughtseize. Lightning Bolt. Okay. Well, there is certainly a Tarmogoyf in play versus my hand with no action. That is a play pattern I recognize from Legacy Past. Prismatic Ending, great draw. Let's try to send this jerk packing. Playing around Spell Pierce. They have 1 card in their hand plus what they're about to draw. They could have Murktided last turn and they didn't. Wild. Alright. It's a lot of lands, but at least the Goyf's gone. My next Shark Typhoon or Staff of the Storyteller draws so many cards that nobody can actually count that high. Just gotta still be alive when that happens. Tough beats on this Brainstorm. They found the first cantrip in the top deck war. If they play a spell, I hope it's Tarmogoyf and not Murktide. I really don't want to see Sylvan Library here. Unless I draw Narset, then it's okay. 4 or 5 Tarmogoyf in the mix. Heyo. Do I want to take 4 one time? I think I will take 4 once here to see if I can get them to commit another creature. If they don't play it, maybe they don't have it. But if they do shove Murktide here, alright, there we go. You have Murktide too? How far do you want to go on this? I'll race you to the bottom. Okay, cool. I basically spent 4 life to get a card out of their hand, which is a fine deal to me. I'm going to stop playing lands at this point and just keep Brainstorm as potent as it can be. Leave up Caracas in case they have Minsc and Boo. And they are working through Brainstorm fair and square. They didn't find a shuffle. Heyo, now I'm going to play out my lands. My hand's about to be full of cards anyway. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, look at that. Caracas, protect me. I'm going to let the Uro trigger resolve, even though it could end up representing Stifle, it could represent putting in Wasteland. I think I'm just going to go as big as I can go in the end step here. Fetch Volcanic Island, make the biggest possible shark, and then draw a card. 4/4 is bigger than Lightning Bolt. if they had been sitting on Stifle this whole game, they could stifle any number of these triggers or activations, but making the Shark would have been the thing to stifle, so I think they don't have it. And draw a card. Okay. Arcast Force available. Sheesh, these lands. In for 4. Here's Wasteland. That probably has to go after Caracas, even though the red is showing something different. I'm gonna float Bouncing a Legend. That's my favorite joke. Are you all sick of that one yet? I think I do have to Force of Will this Uro. Which sucks because it'll be right back, and I'm a deck full of white removal, but I can't let this thing start double outdrawing me. Force of Will. There's not a Mystic Sanctuary in this deck. There shouldn't be, and there's not. Ooh, Force back. Pitching Spell Snare. Okay, I'm going to need to draw an answer to Uro. PDQ. Okay, deck. I think I've drawn all the lands in you at this point. Can I have a spell? Alright. Best possible. Well, best possible non-Swords to Plowshares card. Save those 2 lands. Remember when I said I'm going to stop making land drops like 4 turns ago? Worked out. Ponder. Narset. Interesting. Narset into Staff is really good, actually. Okay. Do not shuffle. Play Narset. I have Force back up here. I hope they don't have Daze. Narset digs up the Staff and clears 3 lands. Staff puts a blocker into play for Uro. Narset stops the card draw. 2 Staffs banked up here. Okay. We're going to do this the ugly way. I'm going to leave back both blockers to make sure Lightning Bolt doesn't just collapse my board. If their 2 cards in hand are Bolt Daze. Though I suspect they would have dazed the Staff. Bolt Narset. I think this is worth a Force of Will if I can keep Uro from doing stuff. Life from the Loam targeting Wasteland Pluto Delta. Alright, my red's gone. I may not have red for the rest of the game. The only other red source is Rockrun Triome, which ETB's tapped, and if they just put Wasteland in play, that just beats me. And Uro Trigger can still put land into play here, even if it doesn't draw a card. Starting to work through my defenses. Block that. And Life from the Loam can do some clever stuff to work around Narset. Time to pull ahead. I get to see so many cards this turn. Staff, activate. Teferi's good. Alright, Teferi, get in there. Send the Uro pack in. Comet Stellar Pup. Unfortunate. Narset activation. Bolt kills her anyway. Shark Typhoon in the hand. I don't care about Supreme Verdict at this point. Prismatic Vista. And attack for 4. Okay, I have a lot of good stuff going on. If I can sneak this Comet into play. Let me just make sure there's not a mountain. I'm pretty sure there's not. Yeah, it's actually just Rockrun Triome and Volk for your 1 main deck red card. I don't think there should be a mountain. Just checking that there's not. Loam was dredged. They still have a draw this turn. They can waste me and hit their land drop every turn, basically, here. I think I should draw with Staff in response to this. There is a main deck Force Negation that if I get active or clear this Loam, we're in business. Alright, no love. Here's Uro. They gain 3 life, and they do get to draw a card. Oh, they replaced Loam again. Alright, they dredged again. Their hand is Loam. There's the Wasteland. I have 1 basic island left in my deck here to play this game on. But we are approaching the phase where I think we're cool. Pondering into Narset. This sets up your top 3 cards. You don't get to... Oh, you do still have your draw. Nope. Never mind. Yep, dredged Loam twice on the other 2 options. Chose to shuffle, did get to draw. So their hand is Loam and 1 mystery card that they did not choose. And I have Prismatic Ending. I can deploy at instant speed. I have a 4/4 Shark that I can make. Or I can make a 2/2 Shark and draw 2 cards. Can't imagine that's going to be my plan. Just going to make the biggest Shark, try to make them dead. They had to draw here because Loam's already in their hand. If they do go with Uro here, it's just a 6/6 gain 3 life. There are 4 basic islands in the deck. Just checking that 1 didn't end up in my graveyard somehow over the course of game. Nope. I do have a fetchable left. Fetching blankly into a deck that contains Lightning Bolt is probably a mistake. Okay, Loam picks up Wasteland and Pluto Delta again. There's the Delta. I don't think they can dredge this Loam. I think you have to do all your dredging before the first draw, but we're about to find out. Here's Uro. Trigger. Yeah, they can't draw. Like, Dredge is an optional replacement of a draw that you would have, but because they've already drawn a card, they would not draw a card at all. You have to do all your dredging before you cash in your one draw for the turn. End step, get my last thing. Gotta be a little careful here because I'm 1 point away from double bolt range. Oh, this is a 5/5 shark. I didn't even count right. It's so big. All right, cool. They've seen enough. Neat. Blood Moon actually seems medium to solid effective against them. Pyroblast hits Uro, Delver, and Murktide. I don't think I care about Lavinia. Surgical can remove Uros, but they can't Uro with Blood Moon around. I have a bunch of Pyroblast, I have a bunch of white removal. I don't think that's my plan. 4 cards definitely coming in, and then the second Blood Moon is the optional 5th. Force of Negation comes out. I think 1 or 2 of my forces does. Dress Down can make Tarmogoyf a 0/1, but Dress Down not really where I want to be here. I could cut another force for a Blood Moon. I normally don't try Blood Mooning Delver decks, but because this build doesn't have a basic mountain, neither in the main or the side, there is a specific cross-section of decks where you want both Pyroblast and you want to play around Wasteland, and Blood Moon gives me mountains that cannot be wasted. That's kind of my tiebreaker here. There's Blood Moon alongside Basic Island, Basic Plains. I'm going to keep this hand. Island Ponder. Polluted Delta. Volcanic Island. And Delver. You always want that to be Ponder when Delver on the play taps a mana on turn 1. There's the second Blood Moon. This is actually great. I don't have access to a removal spell or to red mana here, because once again, there's no basic. Mountain. I will put Staff of the Storyteller in my hand, though, and line out my next couple of lands. Holding 3 red cards with no path to red mana is concerning, though. I think maybe you want basic Mountain in the sideboard. No flip on the Delver. I like that. 2/3 Tarmogoyf. If my Staff of the Storyteller gets dazed, Tarmogoyf becomes 4/5 right away. I think I have to sign up for that, because my hand is tap out city here. Staff of the Storyteller. Cool, resolved. Give me that. Delver again, fails to flip. Opponent needs to work on their blind flips. They're not playing perfectly here, or else this would have flipped last turn. Brainstorm, okay. Delver's likely to flip next turn. This also makes Tarmogoyf 3/4. Volcanic Island, another Delver. I will chump the Tarmogoyf here. They didn't offer me a trade with Delver. Probably smart. I think I'm just going to push to Fairy here. They could have Pyroblast. They may have brainstormed into a Daze. But this is the type of thing that you want to answer if you can. Bounce Tarmogoyf, and if it resolves, I just get a card and it's going to absorb some damage. Alright, Delver, almost certainly going to flip. They just brainstormed. Revealing Lightning Bolt. Okay. It's a lot of damage if they choose to go damage. They should probably just attack me, attack Teferi, replay their Goyf. I don't think we need to do anything with Lightning Bolt yet. And I need to draw Supreme Verdict right off the tippity top. I have pretty high confidence at this point that they don't have Daze or Force of Will or Pyroblast. I think this Brainstorm's going to be good if I don't just draw the Supreme Verdict. Come on, let's end this game right now. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, if I have Blood Moon right now, it reveals that I have Blood Moon for next game and doesn't actually do anything. I gotta Brainstorm. Gotta try to find some white cards. There's a white card. Get rid of one of the Blood Moons for sure. And I actually think both the Blood Moons are just awful right now. I gotta stabilize before I can even think about that. All right, get rid of that. Shuffle up an island. And then I'm gonna Ponder. Unless they reveal the dreaded Stifle. Island in my hand, Ponder, Blood Moon, Pyroblast, another land. Shuffle those away. And drew Prismatic Ending, okay. I'm going to end a Delver. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they don't have Daze. They could have Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm. Okay, Flusterstorm it is. I'm going to plow Goyf also. Still pretty sure they don't have Daze, unless they've been masterfully playing around me this long. It's reeling me in for the long con. Okay, Fluster successful. Glad I found a second removal spell there, or else that Fluster would have just sent my Swords to Plowshare straight to the Shadow Realm. They still have that Bolt. Loam targeting 2 lands that are not Wasteland. That's okay. I'm going to 9 here. I am dead on board if I don't figure out something. I figured out something. Well, team, get out of here. I could Brainstorm first. I think I want to hide the Volcanic Island and just Supreme Verdict. A card I very obviously didn't have last turn. Shadow Realm. Okay, pass the turn. Fend it off death. Next turn I can play Comet around Daze if they don't play a threat. If they do play a threat, I have Brainstorm and Staff Activation and Shark Typhoon available for blocking. That is a threat. And it doesn't even die to a Comet minus. Yeah, not dying to Comet as 5/6 is the scary part here, because Comet 1 or 2 makes 2 chumps, -1 picks up Swords to Plowshares, 4 or 5 Lava Axes, and then 6 you get to refire. So if this was 4 or 5, Comet would deterministically answer Tarmogoyf in one way or another, which is pretty cool. But 5/6, too thick. Oh, cracking a bunch of fetches here. What's going on? Also, Shark Typhoon makes Tarmogoyf 6/7. Who's not in a jam yet, right? Nope. Teferi is a Planeswalker. Yeah, so if I cycle Shark Typhoon into Lightning Bolt, I'm actually making their creature bigger. And they just successfully Murktided without changing the size of Tarmogoyf. Okay, let's try the other Supreme Verdict. Nobody plays around the second one. This could still be the other Supreme Verdict. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. I have a game-ending 4-drop in my deck. I'll start with that. Pyroblast is cool. Pyroblast, Shark Typhoon. Technically, keep me alive another turn. Put back the Prismatic Vista. And I think I have to blast the Regent now before they untap and can Force of Will that for not mana. Or 4 mana. Because they can't force now. Their hand is Lightning Bolt. Okay, I'm going to have to block. They should bolt my token. That puts me to 3 before blocks. Hope their hand isn't 2 Lightning Bolts or Pyroblast plus Lightning Bolt, because I'm dead if it's 2 of those. Making a 1/1. Goyf is 6/7. They did exile their Loam. Here's a Bolt. Appears to be the one I know about. I'm drawing Prismatic Vista, and under that is another Shark Typhoon. Not the best setup here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I could go to 2, make 2 more Sharks, and just block, see 2 more cards. I could draw with Staff, try to find some white cards right now. I'm going to draw with Staff. Come on, Supreme Verdict. Alright, I did find a white card. And I can play Vista, Prismatic Ending, the Tarmogoyf. And I am technically still alive here. Don't flip Revealing Bolt. Force of Negation. Okay, that one doesn't really affect my life here. I can still chump block and see another turn. And I'm going to fetch another Plains, because Staff of the Storyteller is a white cost draw engine, and then all the good cards I can draw are white. I'm going to front load my white, access to white here. 1 mystery card in hand that didn't kill me last turn, plus Force of Negation, which is really good against Comet, but very bad against Shark Typhoon. And we're dead anytime they draw a Lightning Bolt. Force of Will solid. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm just going to play this Vista and represent 4/4 Shark, which beats Delver in combat, does not get Force of Negated. Here we go. And I am giving up on activating Staff of the Storyteller this turn because there's not a basic Plains in my deck. But I can't fetch and force anyway because I'm at 2. Okay, I have Force blue card now. But they have Force of Negation on hardcast with 5 mana available. This would be a cool time to draw that Blood Moon that I was kicking around for the whole game. Not going to activate Vista. Am going to activate Staff. Yuck. Okay, no reason to play these lands. I can't use them anyway. I'm going to go for Ponder here. I understand I'm giving up my blue card, but as I made clear, my blue card isn't even good. Shuffle the library. Woof. Speaking of woof, here's Comet. Time to start attacking and hope that they don't come up with a way to kill me. A Plow hitting my own Shark would actually be great here. That would unlock all these mana sources. Ugh, Brainstorm. That's brutal. That's so many looks at Lightning Bolt. I can hardcast Force of Will on the way out, going to 1. If they somehow put their Force of Negation away here and then only find 1 bolt, all that works for me. Dragon's Rage Channeler, okay. Now if they bolt me, okay, Force of Negation hardcast is off at this point. They're going to get to do some raging here. This Ponder plus Surveil is working through the Brainstorm cards because they didn't have a shuffle. They have Delirium, so they have to fight. Lightning Bolt target me. Fetch. I'm going to let them Surveil first. Should have let them Surveil before I even fetched. They just milled away a Daze. Hope you don't have one in your hand, too. All in. That's cheating. Veil of Summer. That's a card in your deck? Okay. I've lost. Oh, multiple Veil of Summer. Good to know about those. Okay. Now we get a game on the play where everything is easier. And I don't think my plan actually changes at all. The Blood Moons did gum me up early on where something like a Dress Down might have fogged my opponent's Tarmogoyf for a turn and drew me a card. But I'm still kind of into it. I don't think the Blood Moons would be in my deck if I had a basic mountain. That's the level of strategy I'm on right now. Oh no, these are the type of hands you lose with. I'm going to mulligan this. I don't trust this one bit. Okay, here we go. I'm going to keep this and bottom the Caracas. Oh, fucking basic mountain, man. Marshall, what are you doing? 1 basic mountain in this hand is the nuts. But it's just not even in the deck. Still going to keep the hand, but I'm mad about it. Prismatic Vista, and I think I just get a Plains. I haven't seen a Stifle yet, but why let them even try it? Opponent is also somehow at close to 5 minutes on their clock to my 13. They've been hanging out, doing something else while we've been playing Magic. Island Preordain. Suddenly a Preordain in this deck. Wild. It's very cool that we're 3 games in, 3 long games in, and I'm still learning about cards that are in their deck. Okay, that's a card in my deck that I like a lot. I will at least do something and see another card this turn. Or this game. Not this turn. I would like at least a 1/1 out of my Shark. Also this basic island suddenly in their deck. What's going on over here? Another heckin' red card. Imagine if I could protect this Prismatic Ending with Pyroblast here. What a joke that would be. They're dazing me. Must have double daze. Just really going for it here. I'm going to prioritize Island. Okay, double daze it is. Whereas in game 1, they were willing to pitch Daze to Force of Will when I had no mana open to keep their lands open. Now they just 2-for-1 themselves and set themselves back 2 lands to get this Tarmogoyf into play. Or keep this Tarmogoyf in play. It might be the fact that they're under 5 minutes on their clock and just need to apply damage. Let's draw another white card. Okay, sick. They hated this last turn. Cool, that's gone. 2 of their 7 cards in hand are lands. There's one of the lands. And they're just passing. Uh-oh. I am doing the damn thing here. What you got for this? I know you have Basic Island in your hand. Do you have anything else for this? We're both showing each other new cards in game 3. Okay, they fetched just to get the fetch land out of the way, but Blood Moon's in. Tarmogoyf, Veil of Summer, Uro, all that, forget about it. They would need to Hydroblast right now before I untap into my Pyros. Cool. I'm not going to play the second one. I'm just going to play Draw Go with this opponent who has under 4 minutes on their clock and can't cast their spells. Delver Resolves. I can kill that anytime. I don't care. That also tapped them out of their blue source, so I don't have to worry about Pyroblast or Hydroblast right now. I put a creature into play that beats Delver in combat. Okay, they can still cast their Pyroblast, that's fair. Guess I'll have to settle for a 2-for-1. Nice. Multiple answers to this thing now. I'm going to let Delver trigger and see if I can learn some new information about what's in their hand. If Delver flips, I get to see a card here. And that might inform how I deal with it. Alright, Pyroblast this thing. Get it gone. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. I am glad that I used the thing that kills a blue thing on the thing that is blue, and then they played a red card. Then I drew another white removal spell immediately. I'm going to run you out of threats. I'm going to run you out of clock. I don't even have to win this game. I just have to not lose it for a while. Okay, backup Blood Moon? They're not going to force a Vigor me. They might. Alright, I'll wait. So if they kill this Blood Moon, I get to fetch a Plains, then play the other one. That's actually kind of busted. Here's a Plains, by the way. Just in a priority pass click race. They cannot wait to pass the turn. Supreme Verdict, neat. Wasteland, aka Mountain. Teferi Time Raveler. Let's put that on the stack. Oh, I don't think I should have tapped my Vista. I could have, if this resolves, I can, alright, yeah, Pyroblast, that's fine. I think I should have tapped regular mana to do that, because then I can bounce Blood Moon, fetch land off Prismatic Vista, then replay Blood Moon. I'm not going to use my Pyroblast on a Brainstorm. I just don't care. Alright, they're done. Brainstorm locked, they're out of here. They got me just barely in game 2, but this deck really should just chew up and spit out Delver strategies, and we saw that in games 1 and 3. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play for round 3 with a lovely looking hand full of spells that I like to cast. Pass the turn. Island go. Island for my opponent as well. And Grief. Oh no. Alright, that's a shame. Would have been nice to have this Swords to Plowshares available here. I don't feel bad for playing around Wasteland, but good chance we're going to get shredded up here. Oh, Island doesn't cast Reanimate. We're actually fine. That's not going to happen right now. Unless there's some sort of extra dedicated version of this with Lotus Petals and stuff, which seems unlikely. Found the basic Plains, get paid. I'm okay giving up information to protect my actual cards. Now we got a card in the bank. Even if they do, scam me. And pretty confident they don't have a Spell Piercer or Daze or any such thing here. Retrolling. Troll retroll combo. Getting Underground Sea, not Watery Grave. Notable. Orcish Bowmasters. Tough beats. That's really good against this card that I played. Alright, let's find a white removal spell. Force of Will. Cool. I'm going to play Narset. She is a powerful effect. Good at digging for stuff. Now they have a Daze. Okay, they didn't need Daze before because that doesn't... Because they have Staff of the Storyteller so thoroughly stuffed. Well, their hand is Underground Sea, and I have no other information. Force protecting Narset here hurts, but this is my best chance to dig for additional action. That's not even true. Dress Down can turn off the Bowmaster, draw a card, and give me a window to draw a card with Staff of the Storyteller. That might have actually been a better play than Narset this turn, even. My long hesitation about that Daze probably tells my opponent I have Force in hand. Underground Sea. Fudge. There is black mana in the mana pool. Oh, Reanimating Troll. That's fine. I was more worried about Grief. Alright, let's see what I come up with here. White removal spell? Rockman Triumph. Okay. I think what I do here is Dress Down in my end step, leaving up all my white mana. Found a Ponder. I can draw a card here. Okay, we didn't find an answer to this. Was I supposed to take 8, do that in their end step? Then I'd be able to Ponder also with the additional action. I just got to draw a Supreme Verdict. I feel like a lot of our games are going to come down to that. Still taking 8 here. But I did sneak 2 draws through, and they couldn't grief me this turn. Supreme Verdict. Ponder. That's tough, because Ponder can't even find Supreme Verdict here, because I don't have 4 mana. Comet. Prismatic Ending. I take 1, and then I die. Yeah, I have to shuffle this and find an answer to Troll. Yuck. Alright, yep, full checkmated by Orcish Bowmasters in my card draw Typal deck. Okay, I found a Plow and a Typhoon. This doesn't really get me out all the way. Alright, so I'm taking 4 on the board. I'm at 2. Alright, I'm gonna let them go into combat. Plow the troll. If I force, I'm at 1. Alright, you force me, I force you. I'm gonna leave Brainstorm in my hand, because I need to draw a removal spell to be in this game anyway. Okay, I'm at 2. Oh, did I count wrong? Was I at 3 before then? Thought I was gonna be at 1 here. Reanimate Grief. Well, alright, we're back on drawing Supreme Verdict as my out, and my top card is Shark Typhoon, so that's not gonna happen. Okay, GG. Orcish Bowmaster, what a beating. And I don't even really have like stuff for this. A Containment Priest can slow down the scamming. It's probably worth having. It's also just a creature that eats Orcish Bowmaster in combat. Probably need my forces to fight over Bowmaster. Pyroblast can hit all their cantrips, Murktide Regent, but it doesn't hit the Grief to reanimate the Bowmaster, which are all cards I care about. I think I am just shaving a force and just focus on getting my hand set up with white cards that can answer Bowmaster or respecting Grief. I'll keep this hand. I'm going to lead on Island so I can Brainstorm to protect my hand if I want to do that. What do they got for me here? I got a Ponder. That one's fine. Ponder didn't shuffle. Just going to land go here. I can Brainstorm and Plow, or I could just Plow player on days, or I could shove Priest. I got choices. I probably can't actually Brainstorm here because of Orcish Bowmaster and the threat of days. Okay, now I got some layers. If they Bowmaster in the end step, I can Brainstorm in response to it. Okay, they just fetched and went to their turn. Brainstorm from them. How sick would it be if I fetched Underground Sea and just gave them a taste? This actually might not be a shadow deck. I've seen so many Underground Seas and no actual other cards. I'm going to Brainstorm. They're probably going to show me Bowmaster. I'm going to show them Plow. Okay, cool. It just worked, much to my pleasant surprise. And I found my next 2 land drops, which is all I'm trying to do here. Get set up. I can do stuff. I can protect stuff. Wasteland, unlikely to find a home here. My top card is Shark Typhoon, a card that I like a lot. Okay. 5 mana setup, ready to start popping out 3/3s. Sauron's Ransom in the end step. That's a powerful spell. Resolves. Okay. The top pile will be presented face up. I know how this works now. I don't really want them surgicaling me. That's a pretty stupid card. Orcish Bowmaster face up, everything else face down. That's a lot of cards to give them. If I show them Brainstorm land face up, then they have to think about what's better than that. Yeah, the problem with Surgical is that I have 2 Shark Typhoons in my hand, and clearing the first one is tough. Alright, Bowmaster land and then Brainstorm Surgical. Bowmaster land are face up. Surgical Brainstorm face down. This way I only have to deal with one of the cards I don't like, and I think Bowmaster is more tempting to keep a pile based off of. Nope, they got the Surgical Brainstorm, sure. Maybe they already have a Bowmaster? There's the Brainstorm we know about. Here is a Bowmaster. I'm going to respond with Brainstorm. Why would you do this? This doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, well, that rules. Okay, they're surgicaling my additional Brainstorms. Not even the one that is currently in the process of resolving. They get to see my hand and know what's going on. And then Surgical is just gone. Sick. I am pretty happy with that arrangement. Okay, this is a lot of white cards, a lot of good cards. If I put back Dress Down and one of the Shark Typhoons, that's pretty cool. Or no, Dress Down's good to pitch to force a Staff the Storyteller, or I like Staff the Storyteller now that 2 of their Bowmasters are handled. I think I am gonna get rid of Dress Down and Force of Will here. Just the way that my opponent just played all of that. Kind of feel a lot better about my situation in general. I'm going to make a 2/2 Shark before they get anything set up under me here. Once again, prioritizing planes because my hand is so white heavy. And then if their plan here was to reanimate the other Bowmaster, they have to think about the Force of Will in my hand. Plus I have multiple plows now that they don't know about. That was a really weird turn. Glad I got to keep all my Shark Typhoons though. Just plow this Bowmaster. Get it gone. I hate it. Staff of the Storyteller. You're in there. And attack with a shark. I'm going to hang back on my Containment Priest until they cast a Reanimate. Maybe I'll just end step it this turn. Surgicaling my Plows. Okay. Well, I guess I'll cast one of those then. Multiple Surgicals is the answer to the why would you do that question. Still not convinced Shark Typhoon wasn't the better take there. But do they have a third Surgical? Just completely remove all cards from my deck? Okay, they're playing Murktide and putting me on Supreme Verdict and Teferi to answer it. Okay, that's fine. Sounds good. I'm going to start with Ponder. If they have another Bowmaster, I can staff in response. Oh shit, I just misclicked. I was trying to put Narset on top of that pile and clicked on Rest Down instead. I guess I'm shuffling now. Gonna draw a card. I would have kept Narset. I don't want that other card. Another staff. Shields up against this Murktide Regent for a while. Force of Negation, exiling Daze. Okay. Slightly fewer shields up than I had planned on. Still fine though. Spirit tokens, take in one for the team here. And I'm gonna cast Containment Priest in the end step. I have to protect this red source, because once again, no basic mountain. There's the priest. Now they have to decide how if they want to play removal. Okay. Clearing the pathway for reanimates rather than clearing the pathway for 8 damage. That's the choice they just made. I can start pumping out sharks here. Okay, re-ransom, and now the Murktide Regent's going to be their ring bearer. That's strong. And they hit 4 spells. Busted. I'm going to give them Lorwyn Reveal Troll of Khazad-dûm on the top, and then hide the Grief Bowmasters. The face down pile is better, but I tried to make the face up pile. Alright, the face up pile was appealing enough to go with it. And that's 3 of their Bowmasters accounted for now. They get to loot with this Murktide Regent now. Completely insane. Trolls in the graveyard. Block Murktide. They're ready to cast Lorwyn Revealed. That's why they did what they did. Drawing 3, very strong in a deck like this one. I'm going to make a 1/1 shark, just trying to leave up as much mana as I can while I scramble from behind. That draws a card. Narset. Hey, it's that card that I would have put on top of my deck last turn if I was in control of my actions. Okay, Lorwyn Revealed resolves. Late game reset. Refill. Grief. If I dress this down, it's in play, which is a different set of problems than getting a card discarded, but I'd rather have my hand than have to worry about a 3/2 on top of the 8/8 I already have to deal with. They got 5 cards in their hand. Do I lead on Teferi or Narset? I guess Teferi is a now or never, do you have a counterspell situation? Or Narset, they may or may not. This one just makes it happen. There's the Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation, follow up Narset. Dig. Supreme Verdict is in my hand for next turn. There is a Grief in their graveyard if they have a Reanimate. Well, that's tough. Okay. Pass the turn. Hope we are alive, or with Supreme Verdict in hand. But the Reanimate is live as possible right now. They do not get to loot, but they still have to discard, right? Draw a card, then discard a card. Yeah, Narset with the Raven's Crime. Then she loses. Or then she dies. But sick little Raven's Crime on the way out. Okay. In my upkeep, I think I want to fetch. Don't want to draw that last fetchable land in my deck. Here is Tundra. See if we can draw out that Wasteland activation. Supreme Verdict. Your creatures are gone. Alright, just fired off Wasteland right now. That's the opposite I was talking about earlier. That Delver player that waited until their own turn to know what was going on. And that land was tapped. It's not going to affect you on your turn. What if you want to cast a Troll right now? A Reanimate Troll is the play. I could Shark Typhoon into Containment Priest here. I did bring in 2 of them. I'm going to go for a 1/1 shark right now. Staff charged up. Draw a card. Oh my goodness. Play to your outs. Please don't have days. Force pitching brainstorm. Okay, they're hellbent, but that was pretty cool. They're at 5. I'm at 13. I have another Teferi in my deck. All of this is retribution for that random end-step wasteland. Boing. Boing. We're going nuts. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, sometimes you just runner one outer into one outer and your opponent concedes. Okay, I think my surgical should actually be in the deck, given everything we saw there. I don't really trust Force of Will to do anything that I wanted to do, and Murktide Regent now 100% confirmed as a thing I need to respect, and they're on the exile all your removal strat. A Dress Down out, Pyroblast in, Surgical in. I still don't really like Lavinia here. It stops Grief, but Grief happens 2 turns before Lavinia does, so who cares? And this is definitely not a Death Shadow deck. This is a Dimir scam deck. I'll keep good spread of cards here. I don't lose 2 things to a Surgical. Here's the Grief, pitching Grief. Wow, they stacked it backwards. Good thing I don't have Surgical in my hand. Plow's gone. They actually had the Reanimate. Jesus, I wish I had the Surgical. Unreal. Okay. They took my cards that cost less than 3. Draw for turn is a Tundra. It's got to work my way up here. I got 7 hits to figure this out. Wasteland. Glad I didn't play the Tundra. Do they have a follow-up Bowmasters? That would be some shit. There's Comet. The Wasteland makes that really tough. Tapped Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, they are kind of in on this opener. Come on, basic land. Supreme Verdict. Woof. Alright, I'm going to play Tundra. This opponent just snapped off their Wasteland at the first priority pass last time. See if they do it again. And then I don't have to worry about Bowmaster. It really sucks I have to play into Wasteland here. And also Daze. They do have an island now. Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm was the line. Okay. Another end-step Wasteland. Certainly there's not powerful 3-drops like Sauron's Ransom in your deck that you might want to cast next turn. Okay, deck. I need a Swords to Plowshares or a blue source. Okay. That does at least cycle Shark Typhoon and gets me closer to Supreme Verdict. I go to 6 here. I get a cycle. Any untapped land in my deck gets Supreme Verdict on the stack. I'm going to Shark Typhoon now before they cantrip into a Bowmaster. Okay, I have Supreme Verdict available, or I could shove Comet. I don't think I want Comet on this board, though. Opponent did not shuffle. I kind of hope they Bowmaster right now, pick off my Shark. Hell yeah. Walked him into it with the sorcery speed thing. Both played around it with my timing, and they walked right into losing additional creatures here. And I drew a land that casts Supreme Verdict and leaves up Comet for next turn. Get your creatures out of here. I'm at 6. Comet's coming down next turn. 1 card in your hand. Fingers crossed. Ooh, passing the turn. We know their deck contains Force of Negation. Hope that's not involved here. Oh, I could Narset plus Staff right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Staff, we're in. I kind of hate exposing my red source to Wasteland, but if it gets Narset into play, I don't care. Alright, looks like we're kind of rocking out here. Surgical Extraction. Reanimate's a dead draw now. Ah, they drew the freaking Wasteland. And I'm not going to like Surgical those, whatever. Alright, now we're on Find Rockrin Triome, get it into play tapped mode. Activate Narset. Find... I think I like Dress Down here. I could also just knock the Bowmasters out of their deck forever. I don't think that's even good, though. Opponent has lost connection to the game. I don't think this is a Rage Quit. I think they're not that far behind and my life total's low. But I will resume this game when they come back. I was wrong. It was a Rage Quit. Stu 90-90-90, apparently, after surgical extracting Brainstorms and Wastelanding at random times and playing generally pretty poorly. Got pretty mad when they were slightly behind with plenty of game left to play in Game 3. Okay, off to the next round. You know what I do at the 10 minutes every time someone doesn't show up? That's plenty of time to submit a user conduct report. So good luck in your life, Stu. On to the next round. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the draw in round 4. I am happy with my hand if we're in a fair matchup, and we're dead if it's a combo matchup. I'm going to keep. On the MTGO leagues, what are the chances they're a combo deck? That's a joke, because everybody plays combo, though I've spent this entire league so far just wishing I would draw Supreme Verdict at opportune times, and now it's already in my hand. Hope this is Delver. Or even better, give me like Maverick or something that just dies. Okay, Watery Grave. We're against Death Shadow. I am happy with my keep. Cool, Watery Grave. I guess they added these arts when they added all the other Infinity stuff. Or have those been around longer? Rockran Triome. I could just drop that buddy now. I don't want to, though. I'm going to play Polluted Delta and pass the turn. I really don't want them to be able to wasteland me and do something else. If I was on the play and it was just like, if they wasteland me, we play that turn over again, that's fine. But wasteland plus Ponder, wasteland plus Thoughtseize, wasteland plus Grief Reanimate. No thanks. All right, yep, here is the Bowmaster. That makes these pair of Shark Typhoons a lot worse. Prismatic Ending. I know they're a Daze deck, but I want to start putting them to the test because Daze is going to affect my hand at any point where it can't be cast. Force of Will, pitching Murktide. All right. Big answers. That felt good. His Brainstorm immediately takes away the information that I just earned of they don't have Daze. Oof, the discard spell. I think we're going to see Supreme Verdict hit the bin here. Yep. Kept my whole hand on the strength of that one. But luckily for me, I play 2. Come on, basic island off the top. Yeah! Getting to shove Narset here without exposing myself to Wasteland is so sick. Get in there, Narset. Get paid, Swords to Plowshares, I like that. They got 2 cards left in their hand. Orcish Bowmaster currently doesn't kill Narset. If they have another copy, it will kill Narset. Dothy Voidwalker's scary, because if they Thoughtseize a Shark Typhoon here, oh no. They might just take the plow and continue to beat down. But now if I cycle Shark Typhoon, it's in the void. Yuck. That lined up so well. Okay. Comet Stellar Pup off the top. Another Shark Typhoon. Normally I like this, but right now, not only does Bowmaster eat lunch on it, but it goes into the void. Who can beat that? I'm going to play Rockran Triome and just pass. Double Thoughtseize at the opportune time. Tough beats. Maybe I'm just supposed to leave Narset at 5, let them attack it down to 3, then minus 2/1 from that position. That plays around Thoughtseize better. That's really funny. They held back their Bowmaster in case I cycle Shark Typhoon, a card that dies immediately if I cycle it to Bowmaster. Okay, so here I am desperate as hell, and I just need to see more cards any way I can get them. Bowmaster immediately kills my Shark Typhoon in the void. All sorts of terrible things are true here, but if I can find the Supreme Verdict, it doesn't matter. Okay, things that happen now. They are empty. Whatever I do here is going to happen. I think I Prismatic Ending the Voidwalker and play the Staff. This lets me block Death Shadow for a turn. They're not going to cast Shark Typhoon against me. This is good news. Bowmaster's still annoying. All right, jump the Death Shadow. Then we go to my turn. Come on, Supreme Verdict. Okay, basic planes. What does this do? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can make a 4/4 Shark and trade with Orc Army. I can make a 3/3 Shark and draw a card. Then I don't trade with Orc Army. I can also cast Shark Typhoon, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they find 1 damage, I lose. And that seems extremely likely. I am not going to cast Shark Typhoon. I think I'm going to Shark Typhoon for almost full value. I'm going to stop 1 short here and get the redraws. Oh, they're attacking with Bowmaster now. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's because I'm dead if I do anything else. In that case, I'm just going to make a 2/2 shark. Yeah, 3/3 doesn't actually change anything. Did they draw Dismember or Snuff Out or some shit that makes this just KO immediately? Yeah, they did. Okay. Okay, so there's the Dismember. I'm going to see what I draw of Shark Typhoon. Swords to Plowshares still stabilizes here. All right, draw. I need Swords to Plowshares. We're dead. Okay. Opponent either drew or sequenced their spells extremely well that turn, or that game. The couple of Thoughtseize happening not on turn 1 or 2, but on turn 4 and 5 to pick apart the things when they were ready to start playing. That was really cool. Dress Down out. I didn't see the reanimation stuff in this deck, at least not as dedicated. I feel like Blood Moon will KO them. Don't normally like going that aggressively, but I'm on the play, and this whole red mana versus Wasteland deck situation is pretty miserable. No, Force Negation's worse than Force of Will. I'll at least change that. Is Dress Down better than either of them? I don't think so. Okay, let's go. A 1-lander with a full house. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, here we go. Island Ponder. I think I send the Pyroblast. That's the card that's the farthest from being useful. Because that's not really a 1-drop in this deck. That kills Murktide Regent, which is a turn 3 or 4 play. And I don't want to put this red source into play anytime soon. Island Ponder, looking for white sources. Didn't find them. Shuffle. There we go. Let's see how fast they come blazing out of the gates here. Getting my thoughts seized. For what it's worth, I think Surgicling Plows out of a control deck is pretty reasonable. I just hope they don't do that. I'm going to play my land before my Ponder. Probably doing that anyway. And more lands on my way up to Pyroblast. Yeah, I don't hate this setup at all. Don't shuffle. Shark Typhoon does stuff. Swords to Plowshares, answers, Bowmaster. Brainstorm from the opponent. Don't have to worry about Bowmaster this turn. I think I'm just going to make 1/1 Shark right now while I know they can't Bowmaster me. And they could untap and play it. But they only get 1 ping here instead of 2. If that's what they're doing. Thoughtseize, probably losing the other Plow here. Then they can Fetch Shock and show me Death Shadow, if that's what's going on. Ooh, okay. So they're on Murktide, or they're on some kind of juke. That's just not even a creature. Or they have another Thoughtseize. All possible here. Interesting. They took the Pyroblast and then put a big juicy target for Swords to Plowshares, against which Pyroblast does not work, into play. They must have a Murktide to follow this up, or just Force of Will in their hand. Okay, Force of Will in your hand was the answer. Force Pitching Daze. The race is on. You're at 4. I'm at 19. They are winning the race right now. But I got a lot of removal in my deck. I'm looking for Teferi. I'm looking for... Even Comet's good. Okay. Fetching does change the clock. Okay, I'm going to expose my red source here to not give them an extra turn. If I can avoid it. All right, Narset, show me the money. Ponder and Brainstorm. I'm going to take Brainstorm, because that one I can respond to a discard spell with. Alright, please don't have Orcish Bowmasters in your hand anymore. Brazen Borrower. That's a jerk. Okay, so this can 9 me or kill Narset. I do have an opportunity right now to Brainstorm and not worry about Bowmaster. I think I should pass, though. I need this Brainstorm to do everything, basically, is the problem. I'm going to let them kill Narset. I'm just going to rely on this Brainstorm to get the job done. Death Shadow. Okay, that's a big one. Come on, Supreme Verdict. Force of Will. Alright, Brainstorm. Bring me home, buddy. They even have the Bowmaster. Oh, they were messing with me. They don't actually have the Bowmaster. Okay, this is interesting. Teferi plus Staff clears 3 things here. Or clears 1 and then blocks 2 of them. Just have to send these Force of Wills away and hope that my spells work. Alright, here we go. Teferi. We're in. I'm going to fetch for basic planes. And I believe I bounced the troll here because that's the one that is not able to be blocked. And then basic island and staff of the storyteller. And I have to hope they don't draw a removal spell. I'm still alive through a removal spell, but I would prefer if they just don't have that at all. I get to see a lot of cards next turn, if there is a next turn. Okay, just sending Shadow, leaving the Brazen Borrower back. I'm going to block with the Shark. I don't think it matters because they're not a Pyroblast deck, but maybe it does. Okay, Voidwalker is unblockable. Supreme Verdict. Supreme Verdict. Plus Teferi. That's happening no matter what. Ponder, come on. Find the Supreme Verdict. Force of Will, Narset. Narset can dig for white spells. And I do have a land drop. So blue, blue, white. Yeah, I think Narset's actually worth the investment here. And then I'm going to shuffle away the Force of Will and that junk that I know I don't want. Island, blue, blue. Is everything that I want white here? Is there a single card to Fairy? Okay, so I'm going to Narset first. Swords to Plowshares is a good one. I'm going to activate Staff of the Storyteller. Ponder. Okay. They have In the Void. Ponder. Which doesn't work. Okay. I'm going to pass and see how they choose to attack. We know Troll is in the hand. And 2 other cards. They probably just send everything at me. Yeah, because I can't afford to block the Borrower. Or I can Plow the Shadow, block the Borrower, find another answer to Voidwalker, be at 1. Then I lose to Bowmaster. Or I end up at 1 no matter what here. Yeah, I'm dead to Bowmaster no matter what. So I'm going to go after the Shadow. And I'm going to block the Borrower. And then I'm going to dig for an answer to Dothy Voidwalker. And hope they don't cast that dick, whatever it's called right now. Orcish Bowmaster. Land, Troll in hand. They're fetching lane number 4. If they have a Death Shadow, they just unlocked it. Or Hardcast Grief. Is that what's happening? Murktide Region. Okay, that's way better for me than Grief. They were both lethal, and this one leaves me with Ponder. Deal. Okay. Voidwalker's handled. I need Narset plus Ponder to find an answer to Murktide Region. Come on, Supreme Verdict. Supreme Verdict. Plus Teferi. And there are cards in the Void, so I do need to Verdict now. Because they can just sack their Voidwalker and get a Ponder worth of value or whatever. Oh, straight into the Narset. Shame concede, shame concede, shame concede. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Love that. Hey, on the draw, I think Blood Moon is worse than on the play, and I wasn't even a huge fan of it on the play. I'm going to go plus an additional Pyroblast down to 1 Blood Moon to dig for if I think it's right to shove, and this is my plan. A 0 lander, not a single land. Got a mulligan. Here we go. Keep this hand, and okay, so options here include bottoming the Plow, expecting them to flurry discard at me anyway, and just leave the most efficient card still in my deck, or bottom the Shark Typhoon as the card that takes the longest to set up, or bottom the Teferi as the one that needs to resolve to actually matter. Could also bottom the Tundra. That plays around Wasteland, and alright, I'm gonna bottom Tundra and leave all my spells here. Watery Grave, untapped, go. In this deck, that doesn't necessarily mean they have anything. They could just be trying to reduce their life total. I found a Ponder. We're going in. Oof. No 3rd land. Gotta shuffle this. Full of good cards. Shuffled up a red card that may or may not be castable. Shocked in another grave. And Orcish Bowmaster, main phase. Doing that there exposes it to Prismatic Ending, but stops me from just pondering on my turn. On another Plow. I'm going to use the first one here. Just get rid of Bowmaster right now. Thoughtseize, okay. Probably taking Staff would be my guess. Unless they really are just all in on a Shadow, then they have to take the Plow. They're pretty stoked not to see a 3rd land here either way. Oh, here we go. Just take everything. Teferi's gone. Plow's in my hand. A land number 3 to play the game with? Dang. Had it. Is this a spot where I Shark Typhoon to play around Bowmaster? I don't think so, because they already have an army that can attack. And the army grows. Fudge. Alright, well, I'll just do it now then. If they have the Bowmaster, they worked me into it. Okay, didn't get my master bowed. I did draw another 4-drop. Okay, I got my shark thefted. If I just go land here, though, we're still playing the game. There's one. Okay, white source, I need you. And they know I have Plow and Pyroblast. They don't know about Supreme Verdict. Passing the turn. We did it. That can be Pyroblast if I need it to be. It can't be Pyroblast and Supreme Verdict. Kind of a problem. I would love for them to drop the Borrower. Nice. Okay. They're in there on Borrower. How deep can we get them to commit here? They knew about this Pyroblast. And they just played a land, but I can't Supreme Verdict. Ugh. That's so bad. All right. I am going to Plow the Borrower, actually. I'm going to start working through the information they know about. And if I get the Plow out of here, maybe they'll drop Murktide or something, put second main, and then I really get to get them. Okay. Bowmaster. That's exactly what I was talking about. And as long as they don't follow up with second main Thoughtseize, I am happy with that exchange. Deck, keep the good ones coming. Shark Typhoon is a future good one. Getting basic planes and clearing out the junk here. Cycling Troll in the end step. Okay, one card left in their hand, one actual card. If it's Reanimate, that's pretty good. Murktide. This looks small. Yeah, this is just a 5/5, and they know I have Pyroblast if I find a red source. Staff, buy me some time here. And I'm going to cash in the draw right now. I have a land drop to make. I got a Pyroblast in my hand that maybe I'd like to cast. I have 2 chumps, plus another draw, plus a Plow for this Murktide. And they know it's on borrowed time until I find a red source anyway. Okay, this is dead at my leisure. Okay, hate to commit the Volk, as always, Wasteland, etc., but here's this card that you knew that I had. Time to pull ahead, if I can. Force of Negation is the line. I think I'd like to block and draw another card, rather than fire off Plow on this right now, because Teferi is a huge stuff on this. And with the Troll sitting in their graveyard, extremely worried about that card, just in general. End step, draw a card. If they had Bowmaster, they would have killed my blocker. Okay, Narset, get in, leaving up white. This is scary enough to force. Just trying to work them out of it. Okay, they brainstorm in response. I Plow when you can't have force. That brainstorm was just necessary evil, because it's now or never on Narset. They're at 21, Death Shadow, not close to being a card. Okay, they are going Hellbent to force this. I think I just force back. Block it up. Leave both of us Hellbent, but me with Narset that has an activation ready. Brainstorm into my hand, and I'll pass the turn. They're shuffling. They are drawing a random card here versus Narset. If it's Bowmaster, I'm still in trouble. Oh, wow, they're just done. We did it. This is a trophy run. We got one more match to play. 5-0 on the line. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the play for the final round, and what could be better poetic justice than Island Ponder while playing for a trophy? Let's run it. I would love for this Ponder to just show me 3 lands. That's the ideal Ponder. I would take 1, but I want 3. Well, shuffle that. All 3 Force of Wills. Maybe I should have been more specific when I said I want 3. Bloodstained Mire, yuck. Come on, Plains. Right off the top. Brainstorm. Set me free. Okay. We're not dead. I have good news. Comet is a much later problem, and Shark Typhoon. Bloodstained Mire, though. What deck plays that card? In Swords to Plowshares is solid against Reanimator. Prismatic Ending doesn't do anything. Alright, Prismatic Ending's out. I'm just speccing entirely based on this Bloodstained Mire. Good chance this is Storm, now that they didn't do anything with that mana. Oh, if I get Opposition Agent into here, I'm going to lose my shit. Okay. Draw for turn. Staff of the Storyteller. Okay, kind of wish I kept those 3 Force of Wills based on what my opponent has shown me here. I guess it could still be some fair deck with Orcish Bowmasters, but it doesn't feel like it. A Grixis strategy. Brainstorm in response. This looks like Storm to me. Oh wait, is James Kasau, the known Grixis mid-range gamer. I think this is that person. And if that is that person, they're in my Patreon. And I'm sorry I didn't recognize you right away. But emergency brainstorming in response to Staff of the Storyteller. Storm wouldn't care about that card. Okay. I think this is Grixis. Their list was either directly or indirectly the inspiration for the Grixis mid-range control deck I played a couple weeks ago. I guess I just invest in another staff here. Use my mana. Get invested. Someday, I'll be able to do 2 things in a turn. Cling to Dust, my Ponder. Wow, insult to injury. Yeah, this is definitely mid-range Grixis, and... oh, baby. If I get to this Supreme Verdict, maybe there's something here. But the second Bowmaster, I was already worried about the first one. Drawing a Plains would be great. Come on, Plains. Okay, we drew a Plains. I'm going to play another Staff of the Storyteller, and I think it is actually my plan to draw a card in the end step rather than plow anything, because 2 looks at land, any untapped land clears out all these jerks. I have to take 2 damage along the way to do it. High risk, high reward, I guess. All right, bolting that. Okay, in for 4 here. Okay, I go to 10. I fetch. I draw. I go to 8. And if it's a land, we're stable. If not, I probably lose on the spot. Oh no, a Brainstorm. All right, I get another look here. Brainstorm's a nightmare, though. Among cards that are not a land I could have drawn. Among the worst. Land. Fudge and fudge. Okay, so Teferi bouncing Orc Army. I take 2 and they get a 2/2 back. That's the same as leaving the 4/4 in play. Oh, I guess my new plan is to Swords to Plowshares Orc Army. If they counter it, I'm at 2. Sauron's Ransom. All right, I'm going to plow Orc Army in response. Right now when Force of Will is not open. Sorin the Mirthless, Island Ponder. And this Lightning Bolt is pretty close to lethal. Do I think they would buy in hard enough on Island or Ponder Lightning Bolt? I don't want them to buy that. I could put Sorin face up versus everything else. I don't want to play against Sorin though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I actually lose if I draw a card and they keep the Bolt. Like, I can't put Bolt and Sorin in the same pile. They're going to get to see one of these. Might as well give them a land 2 in that pile. Okay. If they go for the mystery card, yeah, they just took 3 cards, obviously. Very easy to do there. And bummer missing that land drop. That changes everything. Yeah, I'm at 5. Another Bolt or a Snapcaster or some such thing. I lose. Just ever. Not even this turn, but just ever. Drawing a card puts me to 1. I think I have to try to just naturally draw a land here. Because if I go to 1, fetch land is off anyway. And the next Bowmaster kills me. Did not shuffle their deck. Another Ponder. Also did not shuffle. And Snap Lightning Bolt, cool. Alright, this game brought to you by Mana Screw, which is how Azorius Control loses games. If you ever draw your lands and cast your cards, you win. It's that easy. Blood Moon, I don't think so. There's a bunch of basics in that deck. And Pyroblast. We saw Sorin. I think there's a Jace in this list too. Force of Negation. I can at least side grade that one to Pyroblast, even if I don't want all the blasts in. And Force of Will, honestly, kind of mid. I think this is all I'm going to do. Kind of weird leaving in all these removals against a control deck, but we just got double Bowmastered into the ground. Okay, I have 4 lands and the means to cast Comet. I'm going to keep this. There is some discard in the deck. That's what Grixis is for. Island Go. Opponent's on 5. I hope I can leverage that to some success. Ponder. Good call. Strong card. Did not shuffle. Staff of the Storyteller. Filling out the curve. Ding, 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 ding. That's what this hand was missing. This will probably draw out the Bowmaster, which will get plowed. Then I draw a card. Yep, we've seen this one before. Swords to Plowshares on the Bowmaster right now. Draw a card right now. And let's see if Comet gets to ride next turn. Didn't Force of Will my staff, didn't Force of Will my interaction for Bowmaster. Please don't Thoughtseize me. Brainstorm, now everything I just deduced is muddy. They missed their land drop. I'm gonna just ride with the homie here. I think Shark Typhoon is safer, but I'm going in. Just resolved. It's party time. It's a pick up the plow. Cool. Alright. Pass the turn. Comet's on board. Drew me another plow. Shark Typhoon's ready. Oh yeah. The turn 4 goldfish. Cast Comet on turn 4, opponent's dead. Okay. All the marbles on the line for this last one. Yeah, I think this is still my deck. I could turn Dress Down back into Force of Will if I think fighting over a big Planeswalker is what the game's going to be about. But still Dress Down buying me a full turn of uncontested cantripping versus any number of Bowmasters. I just think that's worth it. We've also seen Snapcaster. Jack, why? I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, keep. Send the Supreme Verdict away. I'll look for that again later when I have white mana to cast it. Okay, passing the turn. We might be looking at a Red Blast on this Ponder. The aggression would be mostly warranted. Alright, Rockrun Triome, actually pretty cool here. I don't think Wasteland is in this deck. I certainly hope not, because this is the only white source I came up with. We're doing something. Mana's being activated. Baleful Strix, sure. Off of basic lands. I don't know if they boarded in Blood Moon or Back to Basics, or if they're just playing around mine. But here's that Rockrun Triome I told you about. Fingers crossed. Badlands. Thoughtseize, oh no. At least I'm not getting Blood Moon this turn. I don't think it would be in. It would be insane to bring it in against me. I have 3 non-basic lands in my deck. Taking one of the Narsets, that's interesting. A card I have 2 of rather than any of the unique options. Okay. I'm going to hide this information on the island. I'm still betting that they just don't interact with lands. Here's Teferi. I expect Pyroblast here, and I would rather have Narset. Okay, that one's pretty annoying too. That means I have to plus the Teferi if it's going to be around ever again. And pass the turn. This opens it up to Lightning Bolt, clearing it without me getting to draw a card, but if I minus it, it dies immediately anyway. At least give me a turn to develop this Narset unbothered. Alright, they did have Pyroblast. 2 for 1 city over there. I'd like that Supreme Verdict I shuffled away back now. They saw my Prismatic ending. I'm going to save this white source. Ending white-blue on the Bowmaster. And then I'll pass from there. This is a frustrating amount of damage coming from these little shitters. Brainstorm. Now I have to think about if I'm going to end step Dress Down just for a turn to operate, free of Bowmaster, and the card draw. I think I am. Okay, that is in. I've drawn a card. Pretty reasonable one, too. Brainstorm, while the getting's good, but I already have good ways to spend all of my mana here. They know about Narset. I still think getting her in is the right play here. Probably just going to get Pyroblasted. I'm prepared for that world. Force pitching Fluster. Okay, that was a bigger response to that than I expected. And I'll get the staff in. Okay, so they don't have a Pyroblast, is what I've learned. They might still have a Bowmaster. They didn't do it in the end step. My hand is Brainstorm, and my board is a 1-1 and a thing that draws a card. Bowmaster sends me straight to hell, if that happens here. K-Command, pretty annoying, but it's still better than Bowmaster. I can Brainstorm into some action here. Life total getting low. They are a Bolt deck. Brainstorm, come on. Make it happen. Supreme Verdict. That's that card I like. Okay. I'm going to cast Supreme Verdict. And I'm going to leave this Plains in my hand because they are a Thoughtseize deck. And playing it doesn't actually do anything. We got a Ponder resolving here. They've been missing land drops, which means that their hand is all spells. Gotta be heavily aware of that. Now I have an interesting choice. I could save this Plains in my hand to Brainstorm it away, or I could leave Brainstorm cast Force of Will as an option. And I think having the Force is nice. On this empty board, the deck plays Jace, the deck plays Sorin. Let's slow it down. I'm not going to brainstorm into possible Bowmasters here, and I like all the cards in my hand. You can brainstorm, though. I can't stop you, or not in a way that I'm going to. I'm not going to stop you. The full brainstorm shuffle here. Land number 5. This can represent Jace with Counterspell back, or with the Pyroblast backup. Sorin, just as bad. Maybe just don't. Okay, we're going to lose to Sorin now. Okay, that's in. Revealing your top card. It's Lightning Bolt. And good spell. I'll take a Ponder. Brainstorm, Pyroblast. Brainstorm is already the card in my hand, and Pyroblast doesn't help me here. I'm going to shuffle. Yo, okay. Narset, not bad. Not great against Lightning Bolt, historically speaking. Do you draw this card or do you put it in your hand? You may reveal it and put it in your hand. Jeez. Alright. Just fully checkmated. I'm going to play Narset, though, and I'm going to try to dig for Comet or something that can really catch up this game. Fetching in response, so they're just going to bolt her now while the shields are down. That's fine. That's handled. Done. You got it. There's Comet. That is what I wanted. And I'm going to pass the turn here and try to go non-blue Planeswalker v non-blue Planeswalker. Though now they know it's in my hand and they can prioritize digging for Thoughtseize. Your own Narset. Gross. I guess I have to brainstorm now if it's ever going to happen. Okay, I can at least hide Comet on top of my deck here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. I can Sheoldred's Edict. Jeez! Grixis is so good. Mostly what's good is that they were able to get a card draw engine in play before mine was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is enough to remove Narset and shove Comet. I should probably shove Comet first, though, because we don't know what this is going to do. Rolling a 6 actually sucks here, because then they'll have priority before anything else happens. Jeez. Alright. Yep. Don't roll a 6. I rolled a 6! End me, please. Yeah, hit the nuts, and they had the correct answer at the correct time. Now I need a second Comet, and I need to keep rolling 6s. Opponent kills me next turn with Sorin. Yeah, I'm actually just freaking dead here if I don't draw Comet right now. Sorin picked up a land. They could snap K command in my draw step. That didn't happen. Come on, Comet. These are not the cards I need. Shuffle them up. Shuffle library. Shark Typhoon, a turn too late. Is there any way to kill Sorin in my deck? I guess I can cycle Shark Typhoon for 0. Try to draw the other Comet. That's my last out. Come on, Comet. Made a 0/0 and drew Prismatic Vista. We're dead. Oh, that was such a good match. And just kept off balance just enough. Orcish Bowmaster. All right, 4-1 with this deck. Tragic loss in the final round, but to a cool deck from a player we like, so yeah, I guess it's fine. This deck needs a basic mountain. I'd probably put it in the sideboard, not in the main deck. Having to board in Blood Moon just to make sure you have red mana in matchups where you're boarding in Pyroblast, where you don't want Blood Moon, that sucks. I guess even if Rockran Triome was just Plateau or a second Volcanic Island, that's fine. But the second red source coming in tapped, where if your opponent's just floating a Wasteland in play, you can never have access to red. I don't like that. Otherwise, these play patterns were a lot of fun. The just kill everything until Comet or Shark Typhoon win the game. I like that. This feels a lot like the old Shark Still deck, and Comet was a very cool card most of the time. But we did see on that last turn the RNG come up. Obviously rolling a 6 in response to a removal spell that a 6 is a blank, where normally 6 is the nuts. But if this was just like a Planeswalker with normal text on it, I could have just dealt a bunch of damage to Sorin, or put 2 squirrels into play, started attacking Sorin. The fact that you don't get the choice, I'm kind of, and I'm bummed that we missed the trophy, but the fact that we missed the trophy based on Comet rolling the wrong number is the perfect story to end this league with. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this video too. Comet was a lot of fun to play. Isle of Shirts, thank you for the invite to play it. Marshall Arthurs, thank you for putting this list out into the world. Add the basic mountain, and just be aware that sometimes Comet won't do what you want, and other times it will just go completely bonkers and win the game for you on its own. And you can decide for yourself how often you're willing to do that, how much tolerance you have for something that's out of your control to determine whether a game is won or lost after your spell resolves. Generally upside, but not free. I'm leaving it there. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, check out all the sponsors that keep the channel on the air, and I'll see you next time.